New Zealand Warriors up against Manly at Go Media Stadium, round 6. It was billed as the match of the round, and shit, didn't it deliver? Let's take a look how it played out. Hey team, welcome back into the Warriorholic. How you feeling after that one? Man, I've got to say, I did not enjoy it live. I don't deal with those kind of games live. I said to a whole bunch of people in the comments in my preview, I didn't want it to go to bloody Golden Point. Oh, I hate those tight games like a bloody vengeance. But we got it back to a draw. I thought there's no way we're going to get away with this. I thought that the bloody way things went in the first 20 minutes watching live, I thought we could have been on the back of a toweling. But to the Warriors' credit, the Webby Wars, they don't give up. They got back in it. Probably had chances to win that. So from that perspective, it's a little bit disappointing when you go back and you see the missed opportunities. But to get back in it, I'm really, really proud of the boys. So they'll take that 1 point and run. For Manly, they'll feel like they lost that game. 16 points up, dominant over the first quarter. They would have wanted to go on with that. And they probably thought they were going to, just like I did, and probably a lot of their fans. So they'll be pissed off. But before I get into the Warriors, I do really want to give them a lot of credit. They were clinical in that first 20 minutes. DCE actually for 80 minutes or 90 minutes. God, that guy pisses me off. He's so competitive. He's in everything. Both of his tries are an example of effort. Just being there to fall on a ball or being there to take that kick that Talau put across. To chase DWZ right to the corner and keep him on the edge there to try and make it difficult for the kick. He's an absolute class player. To his credit, we get onto him a bit on SJ at the moment. He came back into it as well. But yeah, DCE, absolute class from him. I'd give him a 9 out of 10 if I was rating their scores. Turbo as well. He's a very different player to Chance. His attacking ability, his skip passes, his ability, his vision to read the play is right up there with Ponga and Walsh, I think, for the best create out of nothing fullbacks in their game. I also thought their middles and Olakalotu had massive games. So Paseka, he ran for 198 metres, 82 post-contact. LOA 140 metres, 55 post-contact. Olakalotu 154 metres, 88 post-contact out of that. Sipley 169 and 71 post-contact. We really struggled to put those four on the ground in the first sort of 20 to 30 minutes. And that gained them a lot of momentum. You'll see later on, they actually beat us by about 100 metres in post-contact. But to our credit, we came back and I thought we really dominated them in the back half of the game fitness-wise. And we were just smashing Paseka. He was just knocking him off his feet. But in the first sort of 20 to 30 minutes, we couldn't get him off his feet. So big props to them. I thought Talau was outstanding on the wing. I don't think he dropped the ball from all the kicks we put on him. We smashed him so many times, but he just kept doing it. And to his credit, he put in a couple of decent hits himself. That great break down the left-hand side there and the kick across, pinpoint perfect. So he actually, he was much better a player than I was expecting. So I haven't seen a lot of him over the years. So well done to him. Bullymore, face smashed off. So they had so many guys, I think they could be proud of their performance, but they'll be gutted that we got back into it. So before we get into like the individual players from our side, let's take a quick look at the team stats here. 22-22. Shit. You kind of say who would have picked that, but no one would have picked the draw, I guess. You would have been thinking Golden Point, someone like DCE or bloody SJ would have got it done, but they didn't. But how funny is that 50-50 possession exactly after all those 90 minutes? What's interesting here is we're at 78% completion, 40 out of 51 sets, which is a pretty good effort to get back. I think we're down around, must have been about in the 50s or 60s there for a while. In the beginning of the game, those drop balls, they had 84, but we had 51 sets versus their 45. But we actually made more tackles than them, so it's obviously shown that we had 11 non-complete sets there, which was a bit of a letdown. All runs pretty similar, 240 for us, 242 for us, 217 for them. Meters carried or run meters, 2,200 for us versus 1,900, so great to see us winning that. But like I said, post-contact meters, 620 for us, which is not to be scoffed at, but 735 for them. And looking in the preview, they didn't have the highest average post-contact meters compared to us man for man, but they certainly put them out there today. and we actually didn't get a lot of post-contact meters out of our edges. 4 line breaks apiece, 47 tackle breaks for us, which is great, 39 for them. I think we're actually up around maybe the top 4 or 5 for tackle breaks at the moment. Average set distance basically the same there, 43. Kick return meters. This is one that I think we're going to see us dominate for most of the year with this game plan of SJ putting up contestable kicks. We gave him a lot of stick last year for not being able to get his bombs up there and actually letting us contend. But now I think you can clearly see it's a strategy that unless we're really close and can make it genuinely contestable, he'll land it just inside the 20, but to ensure that our guys are there and nail the receiver. So that takes one tackle and one of their runners out of the game. And it's worked a treat because you can see there they only got 137 run or kick return meters. So that's with a guy like Turbo. You got a couple there towards the end, but I really like that tactic from the Warriors. Looking at the defense side of things here, we got up to basically 90% there. They were 85. Both solid actually, yeah, but 90% from us under all of that sort of pressure. The tries they scored, granted the first one was pretty bloody lucky. What are the chances you throw that ball out of your ass, bounces off Egan's hands, and DC picks it up? But the rest of them were really, really well constructed tries. I'll talk about one of them, the long range one there in a moment, how that one played out. It's a little bit frustrating, but the one that Ben Turbo got, that was an outstanding try. I doubt very much whether any teams would have defended that one. So I'm pretty happy with our defense considering how many attacking weapons they had out there. 439 tackles for us versus 375, which is where it's real sort of odd. Where they had 45 sets with the ball, we had 51. Yet we made more tackles than them. 39 missed, not too bad. 47 for them. 1 intercept to Dallin. 12 ineffective tackles versus 17. So that's great to see us leading those stats. Now onto the negative place. 13 for us, man. I think that's the third game we've had sort of 12, 13 or 14 errors in a game, and they punished us quite a few times. Who knows if that was the Broncos or the Panthers or someone, maybe they would have actually put more points on us. Who knows? Penalties conceded, 4 to us, and I think probably 3 of those 4 were questionable. So I think our discipline from the penalties perspective, Tom Alias was probably the most blatant one. He should have let that go a bit earlier, but well done to Woods, and also the one on Cape Wa that both Woods and DCE experienced enough to just let the ball go as soon as they said held, and got done for stripping after the held call. I thought they could have given away a few more for holding down and pulling legs in the ruck and so forth, but not too many ruck infringements or inside the 10s and so forth. 10 offloads for us this week. That's pretty good. We're down about 4, or was it 6 last week? Even in that weather, I think we had a couple of sets. We're probably about 2 or 3 in one set at some stages. So overall, like I said, the stats are very even, as the outcome was in the end. Game of 2 halves, they definitely had the run of the green the first 30 minutes. But like I said, after that, I thought we played better. Overall, I thought our defense in the second half, particularly like the last 30 minutes of the second half and Golden Point. In Golden Point, I think we were almost state of origin like. That was outstanding. The aggression, the impact of our defense into the 90th minute, those guys had nothing. They couldn't, there's no way they could hit us as hard as we were hitting them. And I've got to give, before I get into the individual reviews, I've got to have Mitch Barnett his props for leading that, and CHT actually. Both of those guys, line speed and aggression and defense during Golden Point, man, which kind of resulted in the fact that they had no genuine chances out of Golden Point. We had 2, missed the first kick, and Tohu, he plays that ball. AFB takes the next shot to the left there. SJ in the pocket. There's no way he would have missed that one from like 15 metres out. Man, that's life, I suppose. But it's quite funny in the press conference when you hear one of the journos asked Toho, what did you think about that call on the lost ball? And Golden Point, and Toho just looked at him and said, I dropped the ball, bro. So yeah, shit, we could have won it, but to get back to a draw, I'm taking that as a point I didn't expect to get after the way we started it. So now on to the individuals. Chans, I don't know. I don't know how I didn't give him a 10. I think the only way I can justify it is that I think he did more as a distributor and setting up line breaks and so forth last week. This week, though, 90 minutes, 33 runs, 346 metres, 89 post contacts, so right up there with Joe Manu the other night. One line break, 8 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, 5 tackles, no misses, no errors. Very, very close to a 10 out of 10, but I know what he could deliver on attack last week. He delivers that and these kind of meters and the no miss tackles, that's 10 for him. So I know he's just got that minute little bit of level there, but shit, unbelievable second game back to put in the effort he did. And I think he got around 100 meters in the last 10 minutes of regular time and golden point combined. He was only just into the 200s, getting close to the end of full time in the regular play. So unbelievable. Dallin, he's one that I actually regraded. Watching live, I thought it was on him, that jam that let Talau's try in. But when I went back and watched that, it was actually on SJ. SJ made the decision to go in and jam in on the second rower when AFB and Capewell had him covered, and he just didn't even look at Turbo in the pocket. So Turbo, sort of looped around, massive gap between SJ and Rocco. So Rocco had to jam in to take Turbo. If he doesn't, Turbo goes in untouched. That meant that Dallin had to jam in on Kohler, leaving Talau out wide, and brilliant pass from Turbo. So I'd initially been frustrated that DWZ hadn't held his line and let the guys like Capewell or Chance coming across get it, but watching that back, I slowed it down and watched a bunch of times. There's no way we were saving that try after SJ went in on the edge. I can't remember who it was, and just left Turbo out there with so much room. So I gave Dallin an extra half a point for that because I thought that was on him live, but it wasn't. 90 minutes, 18 runs, 205 metres. That was outstanding metres. But only 38 post contact. Man, he got sat on his ass a couple of times, but he just bounces up with a smile on his face. Great to see him scoring tries again there. 2 tries, both class. Second one, SJ. How he got that ball away, I don't know. 1 line break, 4 tackle breaks, 1 offload, 9 tackles, no misses, and just the 1 error. Bloody good game from Dallin again. And to his credit, man, him and Chance, I was watching, as long as I was watching the game on TV there, listening to Sam Hewitt and Blake Ashford do their wrap-up. Dallin was out there in the rain. Last one out there signing autographs, as he always is, bro. You're the ultimate man for doing that. The kids love it. They're so happy just to get a chance to get a photo with you. So thanks, bro. You must have been bloody tired and cold, but you are the man. Rocco Berry, 90 minutes, 10 runs, 119 metres, 42 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 1 offload, 25 tackles, no misses, 0 errors. He's got a great fend on him and a really good step that you can see him starting to take confidence with his running. He's got a big set of thighs on him too. He's starting to thicken out nicely. So I think there's going to be a lot to come from him. He'd started, I think, about the first 30 minutes, he'd had about 2 carries. So I was really surprised when I actually went and did the stats to see that he was well up over 100, was up around the 120 metre mark. I think he was initially marked at about 130, but got rounded down for some reason. But his defence, that kick chase, always making the second tackle after he takes the guy takes the kick. A couple of those big runs that he managed to bust through the tackles there, get some momentum going. Couldn't ask more. Kohler had a quiet night thanks to him, and he's probably close to the quickest centre in the game. So if Rocco can control him, you've got to think there's not many guys he's going to struggle with this year. Outstanding, brother. Good old upper hut boy, just like myself, stepping up. I know my mate old Michael there will be trying to claim his weight at upper, but I'm claiming him for upper hut. Roger, 90 minutes, 17 runs, 200 metres, 77 post contact, 16 tackles, 2 missed tackles, and 2 errors. I gave him an 8. If you just look at his metres made, it's outstanding. Probably going to have the most run metres of any centre in the comp this year. but he got away more passes in the weekend, but I just felt like just seems wasted at centre. I'm not sure. If he could get his defence right, I really like the fact that he has that freedom out wide there to run as a kick receiver on the wing. Mate of mine there, sort of half jest but half kind of serious, thinking he'd be an interesting second rower, basically the same size as Ewan Aiken, with a lot more power and explosiveness. And we see how good Ewan Aiken is at the at second row there. We've got to figure out how to use him better. His first error, I had to take a point away from that. That was just very, very average, staring straight at the defense when he dropped the ball. So that's why I dropped him down. Effort-wise, yeah, he's up there of the 9 out of 10, but I still think we've got to figure out how to use him best. I think Webby will persist with this. Again, he's 4 games in his career, or including the trials, maybe 5 games in his career in the centres. It'll take a while, and as Webby says, by around 15, 16, we can start to judge. But yeah, I just feel like he's struggling to kind of unleash his attack there in centres with such little room. Marcelo Montoya, 90 minutes, 20 runs, 183 metres, a couple of knockouts there, 49 post-contact, 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 1 offload, 7 tackles, 1 missed, 1 error. I gave him an 8.5 because of the error and the missed tackle, but shit, he's an effort, man. I feel sorry for Croker. Just nailed. I don't know how many guys he's destroyed offensively. Continues to make me smile. Just never stops going. He's such a fit guy for his size. So not too much more I could ask from me. Jammed in a couple of times there. Again in the weekend, but we managed to cover it up. So he wasn't sort of responsible for any of the tries. So still very, very solid, Marcelo. Keep up the hard work. Tamati Martin. He's an interesting one. Like live, he didn't have the same impact as he had last week because he wasn't involved in those tries. And he seemed really quiet watching live, but going back and watching again, he just gets through so much work. Some really big shots on Ola Kalotu. He dropped Paseka like a sack of shit 1-on-1 there at one point. Best tackle I saw on Paseka all night. From that aspect, I think he's definitely got a little bit over Luke Metcalf. We saw his speed and agility when he got that line break. It's not actually credited actually as a line break, but I think it was when he got that run from inside his 22 and got all the way up inside past the 40-meter line. He's quick, he's elusive, and he's strong, but he's just so reliable. So I'm going to back up my claims. I still think he's more solid and more reliable than Luke Metcalf. And you can see how much he was underdone in the back half of last year. Had we kept him on the field the whole season, it would have been really interesting to see how him and SJ developed as a combination. So no complaints from me. I gave him an 8 just because he was a little bit quieter on attack. But honestly, effort-wise, he was up there around a 9 as well. I figure I can't give everyone in the team a 9 when we almost lost the game. Sean Johnson, 90 minutes, 21 runs, 147 metres. I've always said in the games where like he's dominant, he runs a lot. That try he got, vintage SJ, stepping turbo at the back there. The try set up for Dallin. 3 from 5 goals, 1 try assist, 1 line break assist, 13 tackles, 3 missed, no errors. Why did I give him an 8.5? Geez, that kick he missed. I said to a mate, my mate Snakeape, when we were watching that live, being an ex-goal kicker myself, I could just see he had the angle wrong when he was about to start running in. I said to him, he's going to push this right, guarantee it. He just had the attack angle wrong on the ball. It happened, shit. But he kicked that one from the sideline later in the game. But I didn't notice either of these live, but as I mentioned, he's the one who made that poor decision that led in Talau's try. The second one was on the try that DCE scored off the kick from Talau. He makes a poor decision and basically runs straight into Jake Turbo. Now, interestingly, had that try come inside the 22, I think Gerbo would have got penalised The way they're sort of talking about penalising players for taking out opposition, even if you run into them. So in theory, that was poor on the ref's perspective. But what happened from there is SJ basically sort of turned around and started jogging. DCE just put his foot down, and they both started at the same spot. They were side by side. SJ jogged the whole way back. DCE just put his foot down and just never gave up. Scored the try. SJ not even in the picture. Not one of our backs managed to get back there, but it was SJ. He's got the same speed as DCE. Had he put in the effort there to match it, stay inside him, who knows? Probably would have still got the bounce up for Turbo or DCE, but there would have been more of a chance to disrupt it. So I was pretty disappointed to see that lack of effort. But it's easier to say from the fucking couch, given how much he put into those legs that night. But I just thought it was really surprising. You just don't see these things live. Had he not jogged back, had he put his foot down, who knows? Had he kicked that goal that was pretty much a sitter, we could have won that. I think he'll be disappointed in himself. He wouldn't have known those things. And that's the difference at the end of the day in a real big game. You need your top players to do all of those top things. And I can't say I noticed one situation where DCE could be called up on effort or actually any errors and the like. He was absolutely clinical. So I think from that perspective, he got a slight edge on SJ. If I was marking that in any other human, I probably would have given him a 9.5, but it is SJ. And, that's 2 tries. Would he have stopped him? I don't know, but I'm going to be a harsh bastard on that one. I know you can do it next time. So on SJ's super high standards, he gets an 8.5. Adam Whanua Blake, he's another one that's sort of live. My mate and I were a little bit critical of. He just doesn't seem to hit the ball as hard as I feel like he could at some stages. He comes flying up and then sort of stops and puts that late step in. I just wish a couple of times a game he'd do like Bunty. Well, the speed that Bunty hits the line, not do like Bunty stop when he gets tackled at times, but if he ran with the same aggression every now and then, he'd bowl people. But I guess it's, you've got to conserve the energy, and you can't question the numbers at the end there. 21 runs, 196 metres. I said, looking for a 200-metre game from the big fella in bigger minutes, 78 post-contact, but still what's that, 10 less than Olakalotu and about 8 less than Paseka. 2 tackle breaks, which is, it's a classic example. Only 2 tackle breaks. Guy's 122 kgs. I'd just like to see him bowl some people. 3 missed tackles, 47 made, mind you. 47 tackles made, 3 misses and 1 error. You go back and you watch it the second time, though, the effort and the energy that guy put in the second half and in Golden Point at his weight, no idea. I'd pop a bloody artery trying to run to the bloody gate at the moment. And he's got about 20 kgs on me and then some. It's just unbelievable, that fitness. So still 9 out of 10. I just wish we could see that a little bit more aggression. I'd still like to see him smash people, like literally put on the odd big hit like Barney does, but I guess everyone's got their role. And keeping that motor going for 74 minutes out of the 90 is probably more valuable than the couple of big hits or big runs like I'm asking for. So probably been a bit unrealistic, brother. Wade Egan, shit. What more could you have asked from him as well? 90 minutes at hooker. He didn't even look like he was done. Looked like he could keep going. 10 runs, 95 metres. Didn't quite link up this week. Probably an indication of Chance was a little bit down on energy. Wasn't quite on his pocket as much with the work he was doing. I don't know, but 5 tackle breaks, 1 offload, 58 tackles, 6 missed tackles, but man, they were one-on-ones with some big props. They did sort of bounce off, but went back and got them in the 1 error. Outstanding shit. We've got to keep him healthy. So valuable. Again, probably, just couldn't quite give him a 10 out of 10 because we only drew and wasn't quite as dominant on attack as he was last week, but overall an outstanding performance. Mitch Barnett, he was my man of the match, closely followed by Chance, I think. 64 minutes, which is a lot less than, or 10 minutes less than AFB. 17 runs, 164 metres, 68 post contact, 1 offload, but 50 tackles, 4 missed, 1 error, 1 penalty. What a beast. Absolute beast in that back 20 minutes of the second half and Golden Point. That line speed, the aggression, controlled aggression, not to give away penalties, to get it right more often than not. Man, it was at Talau, I think he absolutely put a shoulder into him, bent him over. In the commentary, I think they called it for Laban, but Laban was kind of smiling. He didn't even get an arm on the guy because he had bounced backwards like 5 feet by the time he actually got them because of what Mitch Barnett did to him. I hope he makes Origin. I don't want to lose him out into Origin. It would take a lot of gas out of his tank, but shit, he deserves it. I don't think there's many other props putting in the minutes and the effort and the energy he does. And those Golden Point minutes, like I said, for me, we played like we were in state of origin. So I think he's more than capable. Outstanding, brother. Yeah, a penalty and an error. So I couldn't quite give you a 10, but couldn't ask for much more. Jackson Ford. He's another one I adjusted. Pissed me off live. I'll get into it in a sec. 75 minutes, 6 runs, just 51 metres, lowest metres of the year, 20 post contacted, 2 tackle breaks, 48 tackles, 2 missed tackles, and 3 errors. So the 3 errors there, a couple of them, shit, mind popping shit. Fuck, I got so wound up live. The frustrating thing about the first one, he wasn't quite looking at it, but he'd overrun it. The second one, he overruns it. He just gets that timing slightly wrong. And that was one of the things I was saying to old mate Martin Devlin on text. Why we were looking so clunky is we're pushing that line so much to get the ball flat right on the advantage line that you get that slightly wrong. And I'd probably say on 20 occasions throughout the night, particularly in the first half, players overran the ball. So a couple of times there, Tohu died with the ball because the runner had overrun him. Jackson, both of the occasions, particularly the second one, he had overrun it by a metre and was literally trying to catch it behind his back. So it's a timing issue as much as it is a hands issue for him. And I initially gave him an 8, but after I went back and watched his effort, particularly on defence, I had to give him an 8.5. And a lot of people might give me shit for this. I've seen him get so much shit online, again, for his hands. People need to actually go and watch these games a second time without emotion to appreciate what guys like him do. Same with Capewell. I gave them both lower marks because they had really low run meters and didn't feel like they was involved. But if you saw Jackson Ford on Olakalotu, what did that guy do all night other than get a few post-contact meters? We've wrapped him up. The guy's 20 kilos heavier than Jackson. Him and Tamati Martin manned up massively on him. So Webby will be pissed. He'll be pissed. He'll be working on it. But again, it's not just his hands. Got to get that timing right. Like I said before, I'd rather he's taking the ball half a metre before the advantage line than half a metre over it. And like I said, Capewell, 90 minutes, 11 runs, 85 metres. So he ran for a little bit more than he normally does. He's normally around the 70, but still compared to what the Manly edges run for. But 30 post-contact meters, no tackle breaks, 47 tackles though, 6 missed tackles, 1 error and 2 penalties. Gave him an 8.5 on the effort, guts to play that 90 minutes, to still be tackling. You saw him come into the game more towards the end. With him and Chance's fitness, they started to make some good momentum with their runs. In that back end of the game because everyone else was so tired. So purely on effort and motor, I gave him an 8.5. Disappointing about the errors there, but Shitty did a lot of work on defense as well. Like again, 47 tackles he's credited for, but he was involved in probably 100. The kick chase of him, Rocco, and Dallin last night, 2 or 3 times that really stood out. They got up underneath Talau and drove him back a good 10 metres. So yeah, he's definitely worth his weight in gold at the moment. Tohu, oh shit, another one I kind of struggled with. I gave him a 9. 82 minutes. At least we gave him a little bit of a rest there. 26 runs, 148 metres, but only 24 post contact. 1 line break assist, 1 try assist, 1 offload, 54 tackles, 4 missed, 1 error that cost us the game. In the context of that moment, that one play didn't cost us the game, it was all the other errors throughout the game, but had he not dropped that ball, I think we won. So I initially give him an 8 or an 8.5, but after I went back and watched it, guy, the work he does, that try set up for Jazz with those subtle hands, hard not to give him a 9 every week for the effort he puts in. My only frustration, I guess, in one of the arguments to potentially not putting him in prop and using our back rowers for the games coming up without Jazz now until Dylan Walker or someone else comes back or Marata comes back, is he makes meters, but he doesn't make them quickly. He's not really bending the line. He's definitely, his value is his ball playing and his defense. But as a leader, man, I love the way he was up the ref and, politely pushing the guy who needed it, man. He was mud. So yeah, 9 out of 10 in the end. Can't question a guy of his age with all the broken bones he's got putting in those kind of minutes. Then we get to the bench. Chanel Harris-Tavita, 18 minutes, 6 runs, 45 metres, 12 post-contact metres, 2 kicks for 29 metres, 13 tackles, 2 missed. I wanted to give him a little bit more because of the impact he had. His speed around the ruck, the hit-ups he made towards the end there, the injection is really valuable, having that guy in the middle who can, man, he hits hard. His aggressive defense, particularly in Golden Point, right up there with Mitch Barnett for a guy who's half his size. The kick he put across high enough up there, like SJ gets caught on the 4th, he just gets chucked the ball, put that pinpoint kick up there. Jackson Ford got up and contested that. We got it back and we ended up winning that or getting the try. So another thing people don't notice about Jackson Ford, he's not the tallest guy, but the effort and that last 90 seconds of the game to get up and compete for that ball and flick it back. So I thought, he was definitely a really good impact player. I think him and Dylan Walker would make a really good 1-2 punch, considering Jazz is going to be out for a while. So well done to him. Really great to have him on the bench with his versatility. Tom Ali, only the 22 minutes, which was interesting considering the Jazz injury. And I thought he did well always there. 4 runs, but 2 tackle breaks out of those 4 runs, but 15 tackles and none missed. 1 error in that penalty. Mind-blowing. Should have let that go. SJ should have stayed in the tackle. We didn't need that right where we were, but so I gave him a 7 for that. But I think he's definitely serviceable and he's going to continue to get better. The more power and sort of maturity he gets in his game. It's going to be playing big minutes going forward though, because we'll get onto this in a moment when I get to Jazz. Who the hell is going to be playing for him on the bench next week? And my man Jazz, I was so gutted. Only gets 9 minutes. 6 runs for 43 metres, but they were hard metres. 11 post contact, the try, the emotion to see him get that under the post. The line break, 3 tackle breaks, 4 tackles, none missed, no errors. You guys hear it when he was walking back. I didn't notice it live when they got to the camera. And Snakehead thought he said fuck you to someone, but he didn't. He said sorry for last week. So you can see he was hurting. I had a couple of DMs with him during the week, and he was just saying, man, I'm so determined to go out there and smash it up and really, show everyone that I should be here. Talking about guys he wanted to punish. And I thought he was on, man. After he got that try, he would have been so hyped. But that run, oh man, so gutting. He sort of said to me he's trying to play at 90%. Rather than 110, because it's when he gets to 110 that he's been pulling the hammies and stuff. And just you see him, he was so amped after that try, man, doing the back fence, head up off the kickoff. And it looks like a bad one. Man, I felt for him. Having had him say, look, he's been told that he needs to show durability before they consider re-signing him. Does he ever get back into that Warriors jersey? Who knows? who knows what happens with the rest of those guys who come on while he's injured. He's going to be out for a good 8 weeks. So sad from the guy who I always call the ultimate warrior. So, brother, keep your chin up. Everyone's behind you. I hope you get it back and smash up. And, if you do end up leaving it this year, but you get to go out on a high, but even if you don't, your last 2 plays was a try and a massive back fence run, brother. Did us proud as always. I gave him a 7.5. I wanted to give him an 8 just for that try and just the small things he did, because I just love the effort, but I had to go 7.5 in only 9 minutes. Jacob, I gave, what did I go there? 19 minutes, 5 runs, 48 meters, 13 post contact, no tackle breaks, 1 offload, 10 tackles, 2 missed. I gave him a 7.5 for competing in a cauldron in your second game at 19 years old, playing all of those minutes in Golden Point. Thought he struggled in the middle, obviously. He's a big, tall, lean guy, not really ideal for smashing it up the middle, and maybe body position wasn't great at times. But on an edge there, I thought he looked really good when he took over for Jackson when he went off. Great line running, great decoys, good offload. So I think he's going to be playing a lot of footy over the coming weeks. I think you'll just see his confidence grow and grow and grow as he gets used to the speed and the confrontation. So really proud of him. Now to wrap up, Jazz is gone. Like I said, probably 8, maybe even 10 weeks. That he couldn't even walk on that one, so it's real bad. Bunty's looked really bad last week, so you're probably looking 6 to 8 for him. Manata, 8 weeks. Starting to get very thin on our bench all of a sudden. Chats with different people on different social medias about what our options are. And I think the general consensus is Zion will probably get the call up, considering he was on the extended bench this week. I haven't felt he's really dominated this year in Cup after that suspension, but he got a really good run that, sort of has made him his name, I guess, is those big bullocking runs where he makes a tackle break, and it's just his speed through the middle there. In the Cup game yesterday, went about 60 odd meters with a good sort of sidestep in amongst it. I felt his fitness looked better yesterday, but again, it's hard to know. Part of me doesn't feel he's ready because he struggled a bit in Cup, but you've seen all the guys that come up out of Cup. When you play with the world-class players around you, it takes you to a next level. So if he came up, I think he'd probably go well. He'd just have to really try and control his emotion. I mean, he's one of those guys you can see just wants to try and have an impact and put on those hits. And that slight slip and tackle technique, and you end up on the pine. So other options for me, I think Tanner Stowers-Smith, he's beefed up this year. I think he said he's put on about 3 or 4 kgs. It looks more like about 8 or 9. To be honest, man, those thighs are huge. He's much more thick through the chest, which was one of the things I always wondered if he was big enough to go at first grade. But I think he's got the size now. To his own admission, he hasn't played the best so far this season, but I think he's probably he's a bit more consistent than Zion. He's got a lot more work in him, particularly on defense, so I wouldn't be against him having a shot. And the other option is Kalani Going. He just never stops. Very solid, very consistent player, remarkably strong for his size. So if I had to pick one of them, I'd probably go Kalani, but he's not that big. So that's, another drop down in size here, and he's more of a 13 than a prop. So kind of torn between him and Tanner. But Tony Tupanua, he's a big boy. He's quite experienced. He's a bit older. I feel like he has a solid impact off the bench when he comes on at Cup, so he's another option. One of those things that, again, I've been chatting to people about. It's like, how have we not managed to pick up guys like, the size of Paseka, those big, Olakalotu, those big, massive impact forwards? We don't really have any of them in our system. Zion's not huge. He's about 105 or something like that. Only 1.84 or 5, is it? He's not a huge guy. You saw Adam Whenua-Blake standing next to Paseka yesterday in that photo they got with him and Dylan Walker and the other boys, man, he's like a head taller. Even looking down through our lower grades, we don't have those massive big ball playing props. So I think this is a good test for us. You know, one more injury and we might even be starting to look for a potential loan option. That said, hey, there was a lot to like about that game when I went and watched it the second time. The heart that the boys showed to play for 90 minutes. So many times in the past we lost that game by 20 or 30 points. We just would have dropped out of it. Massively proud of that effort. Give SJ a bit of stick about those couple of misses, but shit, he was world class in a lot of things he did. His kicking game, the try he got, the things he set up. A lot to like, but starting to get concerning around the depth. We've got to keep our top line starting 13 healthy and on the field, because if any of those boys go down, things are getting real bloody thin. Anyway, up the mighty Wars. Looking forward to us putting a clinic on the Dragons next week. I'll be back on Tuesday, Teamless Tuesday. Hopefully we have a solid looking team. Hopefully put in a massive clinical effort next week and the week after against the Titans.